Hey guys, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of unique homes. In today's video, we're gonna meet a young family who decided to build a cave home. This has got to be one of the most unique homes I have ever seen, and I cannot wait to show you the inside. The family is gonna explain how they faced a lot of unique challenges when it came to building a house out of rock. If you like these kind of videos, please make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new video. But right now, let's meet this family and take a tour of their incredible cave home.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Bryant, and this is the Dunlap Hollow Cave.
Before starting Dunlap Hollow, we lived in Columbus, Ohio. We still live there. It's about 50 minutes away from Hocking Hills.
We got restless being in the city and not having a place to go and escape.
When we first bought this land, Bryant especially spent hours roaming the woods, and he came upon this one cave. And I remember for months we would just joke about it, like we should build a house in that cave. I remember standing in that cave thinking, like, could we actually do this? Like, could we actually build the world's greatest fort inside this cave?
To make sure that the cave was structurally safe, we hired a geologist who wrote a report on the structure itself. And after that, we needed to go through the building department and we had to hire a structural engineer. The cave took about 7 months from start to finish to complete. The material cost was very low. We have all this rock to work with. There was a lot of cost in labor, but material-wise, we used about 1/4 of the building supplies as a standard build. So we probably spent about $100,000 on materials, not including our decor inside, which we probably spent more than $100,000 on that. We forgot to have a budget.
We knew we were not going to spend as much on building costs for the cave, and so that freed us up a little to just go all out with the interior. We have 3 kids. Cleo is a girl age 5, and then Callie, another girl age 3. Our son Ace is 5 months old. We adopted him 5 months ago. We do feel like Dunlap Hollow is a piece of land that is just going to be in our family for a long time. It's been important to us that we're building something that can last, a legacy that we can pass on to our kids. And I think we're seeing that even from a really young age, they're learning to really treasure it. For dinner time, we always do what's the best part of your day and what's the worst part of your day. And Callie, our 3-year-old, said, the best part of my day was when I was at the cave, and the worst part of my day was when I was not at the cave. They love Dunlap Hollow. We now rent out the cave as well, and so we love being able to host.
We just finished this build a couple months ago in November of 2022. We pretty much just put a front wall in the cave. That's the only thing we had to add to the exterior. All the other sides of the cave are the natural rock. So we have as much glass on the exterior as we can for natural light inside the cave, but also for means of passive solar heating. We're almost exactly south facing, so this is a perfect scenario for getting a lot of solar heat gain in the winter. In order to get permits for the cave, we had to prove that it was more energy efficient than a standard home. And that's because we don't have any insulation against the rock of the cave. One of the features that we're excited about with this cave is that the main entry door is connected to 4 other door panels, and we can open all of those doors together and create a 15-foot wide opening to really experience the outdoors while you're inside the cave. So we didn't have to spend a lot of money on building materials for this build because we're in a cave and we're using the existing structure. But we did splurge on a few items, and this door was one of them, and we spent about $22,000 on it. We thought it was worth it, but it did cost as much as all the other windows and doors combined. This front wall is not load bearing. It's really just there to hold all the glazing there and hold the door. This big door actually hangs from the header that's above it. So as you can imagine, we had to fit the contour of this cave with all these windows, and I actually spent quite a bit of time taking careful measurements of the natural opening of the cave and then drawing different window schematics that would fit naturally into that curve. Anywhere we put a wall, we had to grind into the rock and make a flat surface for a nailing plate for the wall. Making that flat surface of the rock to frame against took probably longer than building the whole wall itself. I think this wall here we probably spent a whole week just grinding the rock. The cave itself was structurally sound. We didn't have to do any work to the ceiling, or not very much at least, but we did have to do quite a bit of work in excavating out the floor. On this side of the cave, we had to excavate just to make the floor level, and it also created enough ceiling height as well. Everything you see here, we had to level it in some manner. This is pretty steep slope actually, but in total we excavated probably over 1 million pounds of rock. So that 1 million pounds of rock that we excavated, we actually hauled over to a future project where we needed some fill. A large part of this build was trying to fit in with the landscape that we have here at Dunlap Hollow. It's really beautiful. We did everything we could to preserve, like all the rock on the ceiling is pretty much how you would have seen it when you walked in here before we built this place. Really the only thing that we removed from the ceiling was bits of rock that we needed to for safety reasons. The interior square footage of this place is 1,500 square feet. We also have pretty high ceilings. Here in the dining room, the ceiling's about 14 feet tall, and in some other areas, the lower areas are about 8 feet. The cave goes back about 35 feet in. The rock of the cave is Blackhand sandstone. Here in Hocking Hills, like all the rock formations you see, is this type of sandstone. We have 4 dehumidifiers. Each of them is capable of removing 5 to 8 gallons of water per day. We do have a lot of moisture that is in those rocks, and we're able to draw that out with the dehumidifiers and keep the main space nice and comfortable. As you can imagine, one of the challenges of building in a cave is dealing with moisture. We're fortunate enough that most of this cave is pretty dry, but this wall here has always been wet. The gloss you see here is actually an epoxy coating we put on the rock. It's not like it's that wet. Right now we're getting some dripping from the ceiling, which we actually haven't seen before. Since I can't keep the water out, we just have to figure out what to do with it. And in this case, I'm gonna build a sealed pan and hang it from the ceiling, and then we're gonna collect that water and drain it down into the floor. Underneath the concrete slab, we have gravel and we have it all sloping out. And we even have what are called weep holes that go through our footer underneath the front wall so that any moisture that we put down through the concrete can get out of the building. And so we've kind of prepared for this kind of situation.
This is our dining room area. The table and the chairs, they were handcrafted by a friend. Actually, one friend, a carpenter's son business, designed the table, and then another good friend and his small business built the table and custom designed these chairs. We were just really excited to get some chairs that were specifically made for the cave. From the beginning, we knew that Gothic architecture was what we wanted for the cave. And so we tried to incorporate it in as many ways as possible. So you'll notice it in the chairs, you'll notice it all the doorways, the hood range for our oven. We just tried to be as creative as possible with it. Our wall over here, our gallery wall, again, we wanted to incorporate as much of the natural world as possible in the cave and the decor. And so working with Renee, our interior designer, she did an amazing job at taking all of our desires and kind of putting it into action. But you'll notice that we framed things like leaves and ferns, just a lot of natural objects that we thought would really help blend the two. Here's the kitchen of the cave. You'll notice we went all black with the cabinets and this beautiful countertop. We knew we wanted the cave to be as dark and moody as possible while also feeling really light and refreshing, opposites. We went with all black in the kitchen and we're so glad that we did. It just feels like it's the perfect kind of mysterious, bold look we wanted for our kitchen. Regarding lighting, we have at least like 3 to 4 different lighting sources in each room because we don't want anyone to feel like the cave itself is too dark. We sourced 7 different chandeliers, all genuine vintage chandeliers from different shops around Columbus. So every room has its own just amazing chandelier and floor lighting that shines up on the rock. And we knew we wanted that just because it would really highlight the formations in the rock. We just think that's a really cool thing for people's eyes to be drawn to. You'll notice the chandeliers, it's actually just hanging from the ceiling. So we didn't want to install any electrical or mess with the integrity of the ceiling of the cave at all. So the outlets are all on the floor or they're on the interior walls built in the cave. And then lights are plugged in and hung from the ceilings. In our effort to incorporate as much natural in the cave as possible, we went with concrete flooring that we were able to sand down so you can really see different pebble formations in the flooring. And we really like that. So in any given view in the cave, you'll see stone and pebble, natural elements that we appreciate. The floors are actually heated flooring, which I was really thankful for. When we knew we were going with cement floors, I was a little afraid that it would come off as too cold or too harsh. So it's radiant floor heating, and so it actually is what heats the entire cave. The hood range here has the Gothic arch that we like so much. Early on in the process for the cave, we had seen these photos in a lot of Gothic architecture kitchens. You'll notice the hood ranges are like a feature in the kitchen. So we knew we wanted to go with that right away. We wanted our hood range to be as magnificent as possible. Putting these arches in the cave actually turned out to be pretty tricky, but we figured it out. We had to have the molding for the trim custom made. It ended up costing, I think, over $8,000 for just the trim for the doorways and the hood range and the bookshelves. We knew that building the cave in general was a risky move. And we wanted the design to also be risky. So certain things Bryant just said, hey, I'll trust you guys, go with it. But we did decide to go with something he felt more comfortable with these white walls on the main room when you walk in. And we're really glad we did. It feels appropriately light and then also moody. We also knew pretty early on that we wanted a pool table in the cave. Bryant was just convinced he wanted to play pool in the cave. A lot of the items that we have in the cave, we put a lot of just intentional thought into. One item that we really love, these are real fossil leaves that we found from a local dealer in a really rural part of Ohio. It's a really special piece. Fern fossils into the slate. This is the back of the cave, as you can see. We tried to do as little as possible to the rocks. You'll see that there were certain crevices in the rock wall that were a lot softer and would peel away faster. Bryant's dad is an artist and he was able to color match some mortar, and we went in and filled in all of the cracks in the back of the cave that needed it. And then to put some interior walls in the cave, you'll see we had to actually grout along where the wall meets the rock. We had to grout there. You know, so many things you don't think about with a traditional build. We had to pay a lot of attention to these details. So this rock is just like, it begs to be climbed, and our kids love climbing up the rock. And when we spend time at the cave, they'll read a book up here or play house up on the rock wall. While we don't advise our guests to do that, our family definitely enjoys it. You can almost forget that you're here in a cave, but one way you can remember is that there's a slight echo. So if you're playing pool and you hit a pool ball, and it'll kind of ring throughout the cave a little bit. We've had a lot of guests ask, does it smell like a cave? We've done a lot of work to remove any bad smells that would naturally be in a cave. So we recycle the air coming in and out of the cave. We have 4 dehumidifiers that can be going at all times if needed. But ultimately, when you step inside the cave, you probably will smell a little bit of an earthy smell. And I actually kind of enjoy it. It feels appropriate because we are, in fact, in a cave. So this is the living room area for the cave. My favorite part of the cave, personally. It's really cozy at night. One of the first photos I showed Renee when we were starting to dream about interior design were these Gothic architecture bookshelves that were just floor to ceiling of vintage books. And I really wanted to replicate it, and I wanted to go even larger. I wanted there to be a whole wall of books. So what you're seeing here are 3 bookshelves next to each other. There's over 500 vintage books, all real books, some fascinating titles, fascinating reads. One of our favorite features is this TV that, looks like a piece of art. It's the Samsung Frame TV. If you want to watch a show, which everyone does, you're able to. But if you would like to just sit by the fire and read a book and not be reminded about technology and screens, then it provides your escape. Right when the cave was finished, we lived here for the first week. Man, we had so much fun. We would sleep in and we'd have a big breakfast at the dining room table with all the natural light streaming in, and cooking in this kitchen is better than cooking in my kitchen at home. Like, it just feels so luxurious. And then before too long, we kick ourselves out of the cave and we go hiking. And we love to just spend a couple hours out in the woods, getting as muddy and just exploring as much as possible. Now I'll show you one of the 2 bedrooms that we have here at the cave. This is my favorite bedroom, I think, of the 2. We have our king bed, and we have a lot of vintage sourced items. This chair is a favorite of mine. And then this bedroom, the ceiling actually comes down low enough that you can touch the rock. And I just think that's really cool. And then this moss wall, we had this custom designed for the cave. The woods are on here, like there's just ferns everywhere. And so we had some ferns incorporated into it. You honestly could lay in bed and just spend hours staring at the ceiling. We have done that. In fact, there's some features here that are so cool to look at, different formations. One of these days we'll have a geologist come out and like really tell us what's going on with the ceiling. But there are so many beautiful things to look at, so many beautiful colors, different shapes. All right, so here's the master bath. So in the master bath, we have our clawfoot tub. You can take a bath in the cave here. We have 4 different types of bath salts that we have for our guests to enjoy. So taking a bath in the cave, it really feels so special. I think it has something to do with the natural elements of water in the cave, and you can hear the running water. And then we love to like dim all the lights, and you'll see we have a lot of mood lighting here on the walls. So it can be dimly lit, just soaking in water in a real cave. We really wanted wallpaper in the cave. We loved the contrast of something decadent like this wallpaper against the stone. So this one is actually a textured wallpaper. You can feel the texture. The rock up there is lit up. We didn't want there to be any part of the cave wall or ceiling that was like dark. We wanted everything to be lit up so you could enjoy the rock as much as possible. You'll see there's more of like the mortar filling in here in the back. This is the back of the cave here. And then our shower, we really wanted to leave the rock wall in the shower. And so we were able to actually cut a groove in the rock, then insert the shower glass. And then you'll notice we had to like grout between the tile and the rock, carefully cut. We have our toilet and our sink over here. So this is the wine bedroom. We have another king size bed, chandelier, the rock wall. This bench actually is not just a bench, it holds one of our dehumidifiers. And then we actually have 2 more beds this way. So for these Murphy beds here, you undo the bolts. We obviously were thinking of our own family when we built these beds. This is where our girls sleep when we stay at the cave. So then to get up, our girls love climbing on ladders. So we custom made this ladder that just nicely hooks right there. So I love this rock wall here. Actually, when we were first designing the cave, we knew we wanted the color in this bedroom to be like a dark red, a wine color. Because you'll see there are just streaks of like a dark, beautiful red alongside the wall, mixed in with some purples and some oranges. They're just beautiful color. So this bedroom also has a connecting bathroom, so I will show you that next. So this is a bathroom that's connected to the wine room, but then it also opens up into the pool table area. So it's the bathroom that guests use throughout the day. You'll see we have the same type of shower here where we just cut a groove into the rock for the shower glass. You'll notice we have the same tile in this bathroom, and it's so beautiful, but it was definitely challenging to get all of the tile cut just right, very precise work alongside the rock. We worked with some fabulous tile guys who got the job done well. When I think about the cave, when we stay here as a family, probably the 2 overriding emotions are just, I'm really proud of what Bryant and we as a family were able to accomplish. And then we also just feel really grateful. Like, we had a really good support system. We hear from a lot of people that they're just blown away by it. Like, they just can't believe they're inside a cave. And one thought I often have is like, who did I marry? Like, and people ask me that question. I think often when I enter the cave, I am just blown away by it every single time. It never gets old, and it just feels so real. This is real rock.
Thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like to see a tour of the 3-story A-frame home also built by this family, make sure you tune back in soon because we'll be publishing that video very soon.